Right, there we go, we're in. Welcome to CWC's F2 League here in France for round 9. I believe I'm joined by Partridge again. He joined me last week. Yeah, here we are. Partridge joins me after a pretty emphatic victory yesterday.
Yeah, it's a good race. Very good on my arse anyway. It was good for Harry as well, really. It was unlucky. Like, obviously before the time start going on, just from our perspective, he obviously jumped Ivan at the start. But then once I got past, it was a case of like he was sort of holding me up slightly. And like I didn't ask, sort of let me through. He sort of took it upon himself because he knew, like through practices and stuff as well, I think I was marginally quicker. So I think he let me through. It's a good, like, we got through fine, but then Ivan like just completely followed me, and I think there was a bit of contact between them, and then Ivan managed to get ahead of him as well just after I did. So, but all
it
all
worked out once you got ahead. It all worked out then, really, didn't it?
But I think on the move, Ivan lost. I think he was running yellow ring, half yellow wing for the rest of the race. So like his pace was crazy because he was pretty much matching my times after the pit stops. Like he didn't change his wing, so it would have been interesting to see him with full front wing if he could close up or anything.
Well, yeah, we were watching that gap for a long time, and it was staying at around 5 seconds for a very long time. I was
sort of just managing it. I was going all out to try and build a bit of a bigger gap just in case anything happened, but I couldn't really gain any more than that.
Well, I think he must have put in that bit of extra effort, given that it's his home race.
Home Grand Prix, yeah.
It wasn't I mean, yeah, you took the victory, but a lot of people in the chats were congratulating Ivan because he's got one podium this season. I think he lucked out on one last season.
Did in Spain.
And he's always been kind of, I mean, he'd admit he's always been like a midfield runner. You know, always just about battling for points most of the time. But the past couple of races, he's really boosted his speed and had great pace yesterday. Really good pace yesterday. So yeah, hopefully you can continue to battle out at the front with you guys. And Kollaa had a great race as well, coming from
from the back,
pretty much straight from the back. Yeah, brilliant effort to bag fourth.
I think with Asahina having 2 races now, the last obviously he wasn't here in the one, and then he obviously didn't score points for connection issues. I think it's closed the championship right back up in our league. Oh,
big time. Yeah, he had a really unlucky race yesterday.
Between, like, me and him now, but then even then there's like Scanny and Watkins now, they're all like within like 10 points of each other for third, and then they're not too far off like me and Asahina, like. So
yeah, no, it has brought that sort of top 5, I think, are still in contention.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a great race to watch yesterday, really good. 1 DNF, which you can't ask for much better than a single DNF. is brilliant racing. But this is F2, enough about F3. We're on the F2 race. We do have a couple of new guys. We've got ZR Mercedes, so he's doing kind of like a test race with us today. We've got Eric, he's back with us. He was in F1 a while back, so he's back with us. He's just posted a fastest time. And we have Ruslan's back with us today. He left briefly, he couldn't make the commitment to race, but he's back again. And we've got Advanced Apple, who's also on a test race with us today. So we got 2 guys doing a test race with us. Yeah, a few guys absent. Still got the big guys in Brandon Glover. We know he's going to be hanging around the top, and Dane. Both of those guys still fighting out for the championship. There's 5 points between those guys, and then there's about a 70-point gap after them. So it's certainly a case of Brandon and Dane. That's the show at the moment. They're
definitely
insane pace.
Race.
Yeah, those 2 guys are so quick. More than likely F1 pace getting bumped up next season. Yeah, they're having an absolute solid season. The wins are just flicking between those guys basically at the moment. Missing CXY, he's going to miss out on some points, or Midnight, sorry, he's going to miss out on some points tonight. Metzer, was he last week? I think he's also new in.
He's not on the standings, so
yeah, I think he's also new in
last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a couple of new guys. Yeah, and 2 sort of testers. There's a couple of guys in F2 which honestly just need to go because they're so inconsistent. It's horrific. I don't mind missing races here and there, but when it's like 3 races not racing and then you race, and then 3 races not racing and then you race, it's pretty pointless. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on those new guys, see how they do. Eric, I know, has got some pretty good pace. He did race in F1, but recently got a wheel. So
still adapting to wheel life.
Yeah, it looks like he's adapting pretty well at the moment. He's posted a pretty good time. So I forgot what the pole time for F3 was.
Yeah, I can't remember it. I know there was like a 10th in it between us 3. Like
it was very close.
Drivers. There was hardly anything in it. I'll quickly have a look what it was, just for comparison.
So Eric has set that fastest time currently on the ultras. Brandon has done it on the softs. So Brandon on the hardest tyre, Eric on the softest at the moment. Silas is also on the softs. Bothy's done a 130.9 on the supers. Let's get the chat going here as well. Coloman's joined the chat. Booje saying that Booje lad in F3 needs to be kicked. He's had 3 DNSs. Yeah. Do one, Colo. I had to step up. Missing Malk, but everyone seemed to enjoy the stream nonetheless.
Will he be back for the next race, will he? Or
yeah.
Weeks he should be back.
He should be back, yeah. He should be back next week. He's a top lad, Malk. Right, so a few guys still to go out. Dane has set a lap also on the softs. He's just come back into the pit at 131.1. Let's see, did we manage to find the pole time for F?
Yeah, for supers it was a 30.4, so you can tell the gap's pretty big already.
30.4 on the supers. Yeah, so we've got Brandon, Silas, pretty much Mercedes as well. ZR Mercedes beating or close to
all on the slower compound.
All on the slower compound on the first run out. So yeah, it's amazing. It's crazy to jump. The jump in pace between the leagues. Be interesting to see how Ruslan does. He was always a relatively solid driver when he was in before. I did explain we got some quicker drivers in since then, so I'm thinking he's going to be battling for the points. He's probably looking at a 7th, 8th, 9th kind of battle. There's a good start from.
To see in the F2 league. Numbers pumping up. I know Kollaa mentioned it in the chat because F2's been the league really. They've been struggling for numbers as well as F1 really, but 16 drivers is a good turnout.
Yeah, I agree. F2 was very troublesome for a while with hosting issues and all kinds of. It just seemed to be plagued at one point. Nothing was going right, no matter sort of what I did. But yeah, it's improving. Last week was a pretty solid race for F2 for a turnout as well. So yeah, F2's improving. We've recently, don't know if you've seen, collaborated with SSR. So hopefully, I
didn't read too much into it, but it does sound like it's a good move.
Yeah, well, we know Lawman's. We've got a couple of SSR guys in the leagues already. We've got SSR Legende. Silas is in here. BB Brett is signed up, but he's signed up for next season. So we got a few SSR guys in there, and hopefully we can bring a few more in just to properly bolster the numbers across the board, because I know they've got drivers of every level.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Yesterday, didn't they? I think I can't remember. He was in the Mercedes as opposed to you, or was he not an SSR driver?
Oh.
No, it was a TTG, wasn't it? Sorry,
TTG, yeah, TTG.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a TTG. Yeah, but it's nice. I think it's nice sometimes to try and work with other leagues and other teams.
Definitely.
It can only benefit. You get a few leagues and teams that are a bit, a bit salty, but now we'll try and keep it a bit more of a community event. So we dipped into the Eric has dipped into the 29s, 29.6. He's still on the ultras at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like he's committing to an ultra start. Whether that means it'll be a 2-stop definitely for him, or whether he'll try and stretch it, we'll have to wait and see. But
well, yeah, that was the interesting thing yesterday. We saw quite a few different strategies popping out yesterday. Yeah, which was pretty good to see. You did a 1-stop in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, it was comfortable 1-stop. Started on the supers, so.
That's some stuff.
Well, I mean, the time delta between Eric and Brandon's time is pretty much the difference between ultras and supers. So you can imagine, especially with a 29.6, he's going to be at least the top 3 or 4 drivers.
Yeah, I didn't seem to notice the gap in tyres isn't as drastic in France compared to. I mean, some tracks you're getting like 8 tenths to a second. But yeah, it's definitely not as high here. Probably 3-4 tenths, maybe 5 tenths max between the compounds. So Eric's time isn't bad all in all. Obviously we know Brandon's he's basically one of the top 2 every week, so if you're beating his time, you're doing all right regardless, really. Bothy's just posted a 1:29.8 as well on the ultras, so that's a good time from Bothy. Eric has come in, and be interested to see if Eric comes back out on the ultras. I think doing a second run on the ultras kind of eradicates coming out on another compound, because you'd struggle to. You'd be risking it big time to beat that.
Dane's just about to cross the line now. I think he's gone again on the same soft tyres. Finds himself down in 10th at the minute. Will he improve? Only up to 8th, so
only up to 8th. Okay, so
potentially Dane's struggling at the minute. I mean, I know the car's ahead of him, most of them. I mean, but Spud and Silas have both put in better times on the same compound.
That is interesting to see. Dane doesn't seem to quite have the track wrapped up. It can be a bit of it's a strange track, France. I like it. It's very kind of like flowy, but if you get out of sync, you seem to be out of sync for like 3, 4, 5 corners for some reason, and it can go. You can lose a lot of time really quick. We was
practicing last week. Took us a while to sort of get the hang of it.
Yeah, there's some kind of strange apexes as well.
Corner for me. It was one so for me, but for Watkins even more so. Like he had to rage quit at times because he just couldn't get 1 and 2 hooked up.
Oh, Metz's DNF'd somewhere on track. I can't see where. Not seeing any yellow flags anywhere.
No.
Not many guys.
It's a track where there isn't really many places you can lose it. I mean, I know Kollaa had controller issues, I think he said, for like him DNFing, but then I think Stan was the only one, like you said, won it to DNF yesterday. Yeah,
it is quite a difficult track to DNF.
All the huge runoff areas, even if you do spin, you sort of save it before you end up hitting any barriers.
Yeah, it is quite a tough track to DNF, just because it's so open. I mean, the pit entry is one of the most tough corners to get around. Sometimes it's not quite Monaco, but it's got a similar kind of shot.
On entry into it yesterday.
So we are seeing big improvements. Eric's actually improved to 1:29.6. I thought that was a 0.8 before. I could have been wrong. I don't know if he's gone round again.
6.
Is he about to cross? Oh no! So I think he's on his lap now. So he is committed to those ultras. So yeah, Dane. Don't know what's going on with Dane. Whether he's going to think about changing his strategy. He's done a couple of runs out on those softs. So I'm wondering whether he's going to come out on a different tyre. Eric at the moment though leading the pack from Bothy, who's also on ultras. He's in the pits. Brandon's currently on his outlap. He's gone for a super soft start by the looks of it. He's got some super soft boots on. Mercedes that Mercedes just crossing the line?
Yeah,
It
it's just
is.
P3.
P3. Yeah,
that's
a really good time on the supers. Fair play to Mercedes. Like I said earlier, he has come in today as a sort of test race with a potential permanent seat.
I think Eric will be next to cross the line. He's coming up to a bit of traffic, whether that hinders him or not, he should be getting out the way.
Brandon gets out the way nicely. It's a weird right-hander that as well. You can get the apexes on some of these corners. Yeah, there's very strange apexes to a lot of these corners. Like you said, you got multiple lines into many of them. So Eric coming around the final little hairpin there. Looks pretty good. He does beat his time by 3/10. 29.3, very quick, almost running into back of Ninja, just in front of him there. 29.3. Oh, he has retired. He's pulled over to the side and retired. Bothy on an outlap. Mercedes, I think he's on an in-lap. He's not long posted a time, I don't think.
Yeah, he put in a time just before. I think Westy's just starting his lap now. He was on a time, so he must have made mistakes somewhere and backed off and gone again.
So we got a few guys. Ruslan yet to set a time on his return to CWC. Advanced Apple is currently on an outlap at the moment. 1:34, so a mistake's been made there somewhere. Matty's out. Metzer's DNF'd. We got quite a few guys out. Jorit, we got Yellow Sector 2. That is Rusland.
Rusland, yeah.
So, commentator's curse. Rusland. Where on earth has he managed to bin it?
I think it's on the start of the main straight. The back straight, the long one. That's where Yellows were waving on Westy's screen just.
Right.
I think Westy might be next to cross the line.
I've seen the occasional DNF there with the back end spinning out. Yeah, that's where Stan
lost it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can get the back end to kick out. It does look like we got Westy. Everyone's on track apart from the finished or DNF'd.
I think drivers. He was 5 tenths up on his middle sector compared to his old lap, so he should be making a good improvement.
Westy currently sitting down in P9. He's definitely going to be looking to improve on this on the middle compound super softs. It looks better than his current time. Should be a 1:30 flat. Oh, it's close. 1:29.8.
In the 29s.
So that's
close to second.
Bumped him up to P3. Oh, very close. ZR Mercedes super softs 1:29.5 on the super softs. Fantastic lap from Mercedes on the super softs. Brandon's not quite there yet. He is on his lap
he's
though.
He's a 10th up on his first sector, so he should make him unless he doesn't make a mistake. Dane's just gone to P3.
Dane start on the super softs also 2/10 slower than Mercedes. A Silas. 1:29.4 also a brilliant lap from Silas. Great stuff. Where's Brandon? He's going to be wanting to seriously improve this lap time. Currently sits P7. He's also opted for the super softs. His current quickest is on the softs. This is going to be quicker, I would imagine. And that's enough to take him to P3, 1:29.4. It's a brilliant pace. Silas is, I'm impressed with Silas's lap there. That's a really quick time on the super softs, a 10th slower. And that brings us to the end of
slightly mixed up grid from what we're used to.
Yeah, there's a few drivers I'm not used to seeing in certain places. That's definitely thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. Mercedes. ZR Mercedes showing some really good pace there. Silas stepping his game up as well. So we got Eric the Führer, which was Eric Salama, I believe, in P1. He's on the Ultras though, so he was on a quicker compound. A 10th behind was SSR Silas, putting in a great performance on the Super Softs In third, we got a usual guy at the top, Brandon Glover, also on the Super Soft. ZR Mercedes, new boy coming in today in the Renault, could have a permanent seat. He sits in P4. Dane didn't seem to quite tie things together. P5. Bothy, good performance from him. He's on the Ultras though, P6, and the rest is history. Sorry, that's Westy, P7. Ninja was in P8. Oliver Coleman saying go to Rustland, maybe not then. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Dark Ninja says it's yeah. Dark Ninja saying it's a sunny race, so we should be expecting sunshine. That's right. So it's worth a note. I should mention Dane's actually running no assists.
Is it his first time doing it and stuff? That's probably.
Yeah, I think he only raced with very minimal anyway. I think it was maybe just a bit of ABS or something, but he's running with nothing now. So
that explains it. Then.
That does explain a slight drop in pace.
So you've got to bite the bullet at some point, didn't you? If you want to be up there with the real fast guys, you've got to work towards no assists.
Yeah, you do. There's no way around it. You've just got to kind of jump into it and see how it goes.
I've tried a few times, even just in time trial, and I can never get used to it.
No, it is tough. But I have to say, you know, P5, that's not bad. Let's be honest.
It's still good. Like you say, if he's still learning and trying to adapt to different assist setups, and
yeah, that's definitely a reasonable race, qualifying pace rather. So what do you throw out your predictions, Partridge? What are you going for today in this mixed up F2?
I'm gonna go for another Brandon win. I think the same as I predicted last week. I know he finished first. Obviously the penalties put him down to second because of the issue with Dane Starr's 5 second stop go. But I'm going to go in first. I'm going to say ZR Mercedes. I think he's going to get second. And I'm going to go with Bothy as third. I think Dane's going to have a bit of an incident at some point throughout the race. I think Eric on the Ultras is going to struggle to keep up after the first couple of laps. So yeah, that's mine. What about you?
Interesting predictions. Yeah, this is a mixed bag. Very tough to call. I'm gonna go for Silas bagging his first win in the F2. I'm gonna say Silas.
Redemption from last week.
Absolutely, absolutely redemption. Yeah, he didn't have the greatest race. It's kind of been resolved, but there was some issues regarding a bit of a tricky safety car. So it turns out a safety car popped out, and he had his finger or whatever foot on the acceleration, and when it came off, obviously he zoomed forward, which, you know, at the end of the day, the guy in first controls the pace of the race. So it was an error, but he did take a couple of cars with him. But I'm going to say Silas. I'm going to say Silas, Mercedes, Brandon.
Interesting. What about you, Kollaa, in the comments? What's your top three?
Yeah, Kollaa predicted he would get a top 5 yesterday, starting at the back. So whatever Kollaa says is going to be absolute magic. He'll get it right. So we'll have to see what Kollaa chirps up shortly. Just waiting for the last couple of cars to join the grid. There we go. 3, 4. The lights flew up there. 5 lights, and away we go.
We've got a full start.
We've got
Dane.
Something. Oh. What the hell has happened there?
Issues here.
Well, interesting. We got a bunch of jump starts. Yeah, we got a stuck grid. We are gonna have to quit to the main menu. Interesting start.
Yeah, it's never straightforward, is it?
No. Yeah, F1 2018 does not help. So bear with us while we try and attempt the restart here. Let's see what we can do. Let's pause.